Good morning or good afternoon. Today we're going to be talking about taking off the axles because the axles are all fitted into the transmission. This is a Saturn View 2.2 4-cylinder front wheel drive. So some of the things we've already done, because those are pretty simple. We've taken the tire off, and when you take the tire off, then of course this is what it's going to look like. First thing we did, we took off the axle nut, and that's going to allow you to pull the axles. And what we'll do is in our next edition, when we do the other side, we're going to show you what we did to make it easier to pull these things off, because if these have been on here for a while, they're going to be tight. Next thing we did, we want to unloosen these bolts here, and these bolts here are holding on whatever this thing is, disc brake. And again, we went through and we sprayed all of these nuts with penetrating oil, because these things are on there. So you want to break these, and then what you want to do is get them all the way off, then put them back on so that none of the thread is exposed, and you want to tap it with a hammer. If they're not coming out easily, down in here, spray some penetrating oil inside here and let it set for about 5 or 10 minutes, and just work it gently. I mean, you want to hit it with a little bit of force, but you don't want to start mangling anything, and these things will eventually pop out. In addition, we took off the brake line. Here's the brake line support, so we took this off because we're going to take the disc brake assembly and we're going to hang it from up here so that we don't break any of this stuff. And then in addition, the tie rod, we took this bolt off here. This will be tapped out, and then on the other end of this tie rod, there's a couple bolts back there that we have to take off. So we're going to take those off. And then we're going to work on this sway bar. There's a bolt here, and 2 bolts back there, right over here. And we put penetrating oil on those. And so we're going to take those off also. The sway bar, theoretically, you would only have to take, well, it all depends on how sturdy it is. If you take it off back here and it's up out of the way, you might be able to leave this. If it goes down and it interferes with us taking that subframe off, then we're going to have to take off the entire assembly. Here we're going to take off the assembly because it's fairly easy to put back on. But that's the order of things that we have done. And we'll get into a little bit more detail when we go on the passenger side. It's a little more open over there. But basically that's what we're doing with these 2 steps here. Okay, see you in a while. Bam! Okay, we already did the driver's side, and we did that so that we could practice what we want to show you here. On the passenger side, since both sides are the same, about what we had to do here. First thing we're going to do is take this axle nut off, and this axle nut is a 34 mm, and of course you're gonna have to buy this special. What do we pay for this thing? 10-15 bucks for this. And of course you're gonna have somebody go in and step on the brakes, and once you step on the brakes, you'll be able to get this thing loose. We've already loosened it, so lose that. The next step we're going to do, and anyways, what you can do is you can put some stuff on here that helps you break the nuts. Well, I don't know, what's that stuff called? Penetrating oil. Penetrating oil, and that'll help you break this. But it's important to note that when you take this nut off and you're using the brake method, take both this one and the other side off before you take your brake assembly off. Or brake. Gonna pop the cylinders out of the one that you've already taken off. Not that we would know that, but we've heard. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay. Next we're going to take off the brake assembly. And so there's two main bolts that hold it here. There's one here. I don't know if you can see that one in the back. This one here. And then there's one on the bottom. Right here. I'll loosen both of those. Take those out. Pop off this brake assembly. And we're going to tie it up on the spring. Get it out of the way so that we're not going to break this line. So in addition to taking that off, we got one bolt here. Take off this bracket that holds the brake fluid line. And so then we're just going to hang this from up here and get it out of the way. See you next time. Okay, so we got the brake assembly off. We got the hose for the fluid, and we just tied it up on the spring just to get it up out of the way. Because what you're going to be taking off, you're going to be taking off the hub. You're going to be taking off this bracket here that holds on the wheel, and steering arm we're going to be taking off. We're going to be taking off the sway bar, or the stabilizer bar. Sway bar, stabilizer bar, I think it's the same thing. So those are the things we're going to do next. So while we're here, we've already gotten this loosened, taking this off, and now you want to remove that. And the reason you're taking all this off just because it's easy to take off, plus you want to sort of lighten the load, because when you take this off, you don't need to have all this on there holding you back, because they say sometimes you can just fold it down, but you have it up off so far off the ground that it just makes sense to lighten your load and film it and take one step at a time. Okay, see you in a minute.